Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anna. I am a macrame artist and teacher. And in my last video, I mentioned that I would be doing, in the end, a baby related macrame project. And today is the day. So in this apartment, we have 2 bedrooms, and in the second one, we currently have our office and I have my little macrame studio. Eventually that will be the kids' room, but for now, the only thing we have in there, in this one corner, is a changing table. I've also put up a cute poster, or I think it's cute, but then there is one wall that's very blank, and I thought that that's just asking for some macrame to be put on there. And so what I thought of doing is a little macrame garland for that wall. As usual, let me do all the supplies first, starting with my basic cord, which today is this 3mm 3-ply cord in natural. And then I have 2 other cords of 2 different colors. I've got Eucalyptus for the green and Terracotta for the orange. I just thought that these will go really well with the mat that I have on the changing table and also the colors in the poster. And so the reason why I'm choosing this type and size of cord to work with today. So first of all, I know that I want some fringe on the garland. So I knew that for that I needed either 3-ply like this or single twist cord so that I can actually brush it out. And I thought the 3-ply, when that's brushed out, it gives like this wave in the fringe, and I thought that that was going to be really cute for this little project. And the 3mm size, I chose that because I'm also going to be using some beads, and they have a slightly smaller hole in the middle. So in order to, just to make sure that the cord fits through, that's why I'm using the 3mm today. So the beads, I've got these ones that you've also seen me use before on that chandelier. I think that's where it was. I'm not sure if I've used them anywhere else. They have like a little ridge detail, which again, I just think is gonna fit really well with the 3-ply, you know, the texture of the 3-ply. So that's what I'm using. And that really is it, I think. No other supplies. So for the cords, all the measurements, they are, as always, down in the description box. So check that out if you want to remake this yourself. So the idea that I have for the design is that the garland is going to have all these semicircle patterns hanging on it. And the basic is going to be formed by, or the base is going to be formed by the natural cords, but then in some of the shapes, I'm also going to add the colorful cords into it. And I'll be switching between bigger shapes and smaller ones and putting the beads in between. Now that's the idea I have now when I haven't even started, and I have no idea how exactly that will work. So we'll just have to wait and see. I might change my mind during the project. To start off, I've got a really long piece of the natural cord. That's the one that's gonna hang kind of like this through the whole garland, and that's what all the other cords are gonna go on. As the next step, well, and you can also see that I've tied it to my clothing rack. The clothing rack is not a must. I'm sure that you can figure out a way to attach this to something that's kind of steady and that's going to be holding it up, and then be able to also attach it to another place. So maybe if you have like a chair that has something, you know, that the back has some kind of a way for you to attach it to the 2 sides, that could work. Curtain rods could work, you know, something like that. I'm sure you will figure that out. My first step will be that I'm going to put on 2 of those wooden beads on the other side, which is not attached yet, and just pull them up here. And then I'm going to just attach this to the other side of the clothing rack, and then I can start putting on all the other macrame cords. So the 2 beads are up here and the cord is attached over there on the other side. And you can see that I've put up 2 cords with the regular lark's head knot. Now this one is the very middle of that semicircle, so we will now start adding cords like this, forming that half circle shape. And so how we create that is by taking this kind of left middle cord and putting 2 double half hitch knots with the 2 cords of that middle cord on there, that middle section. And now we need to make the lark's head knot with this piece of cord on here. So first the cord goes over the hanging cord. Then we bring it forward through this loop. Now it needs to go behind that cord and down like this. Now you can see that that has formed a lark's head knot and you wouldn't even know which side we started from. Now I've added another piece of cord and I'm going to again put on 2 double half hitch knots here. Once I've done that, you can see that there is quite a gap for me to cross to get to these other 2 cords. And that's where the colored cords are gonna come in. I'm going to do the reverse lark's head knot and put this terracotta cord onto it here. And I'll try to make sure that it's hanging underneath this middle cord here. And now I can put on these 2 and then again make the lark's head knot here. In the 3rd row, I wanted to point your direction to this cord that I've put on, because if you were to look at the bottom, you would see that the right side of that cord is a lot longer. And that is because we just need more of that cord because it's traveling all this distance, plus it's making that lark's head knot up here. So in order for them to, like here, be kind of the same at the end, we need to start them off like this at first. I also did that a little bit here, but it wasn't as dramatic as here, so that's why I thought to show you here. So in this row, I'm putting on 1 double half hitch of that natural cord. And then I'm again adding in this terracotta. And I'll finish all of these with the double half hitch knots, then again add the terracotta, then do this last one, and then the lark's head knot. I've done rows 3 and 4 now as well. In that 4th row, the only cord I added is this terracotta right here in the middle. And so I'll keep going like this, adding more of these semicircles until I'm happy with the overall size of it. Now, one thing I want to point your attention to is because we're adding these colored cords, you want to pay attention to make sure that everything is symmetrical and that really this middle is sticking to the middle, that it's more or less the same shape on both sides, and then same for these 2 cords here as well. because if it goes off, it will be really visible that, you know, the colored sections are moving to one side or the other. So you want to really space the knots properly so that they are the same on all the sides. But that really is all there is to it. So let me add a few more rows here. So I finished the entire shape with 6 rows in total. And in row 5, which is this one, I've added terracotta cords here and here. And then also I added some natural here and here. Again, keeping things symmetrical. And then for the last row, there were no additional cords, just the one that I put at the top here, and then all the double half hitch knots. I'm not going to unravel or do anything with the fringe yet. I'll leave that for later. I've done a few more things now. As you can see, I've added some beads here and another semicircle section. So after I finished this whole thing, the first thing I did is I untied the entire rope. I made a little knot. You can see that here, just like a regular knot. Then I put on this bead, then made another knot, and then I added or started doing this semicircle, which is the exact same pattern as here, just all done in the green quartz. And I made sure that the distance between this middle and this middle is 20 centimeters. That's how I worked out all of my measurements, because the wall is about 100 centimeters or 1 meter in total. So in order to have them, all the semicircles nicely spaced out, I figured out that I need about 20 centimeters in between all of the different sections. So I've done that, and then I tied these knots and the bead so that it is kind of more or less in between these two parts. I then added another bead right here, and then I will just continue with adding a section like this over here. So again, measuring 20 centimeters from here to wherever, and that's where I'm gonna put the middle cords of the next section. And so I'll repeat that a couple times. I should have, I think, 2 of these green sections and 3 of these ones, and that should fill that entire row. So let's see if that will work out. I'll then test to see how it looks on the wall, if it is going in the direction that I want, and then I'll show you what I'm doing next. So I've got this first entire row done. There are, as you can see, 2 of the smaller semicircles in green, and then 3 of the larger sections with the natural and the terracotta. I went to the other room to test it out, and of course I changed my mind. So my original plan was to have 3 sections all connected to each other on that same natural cord, the long one. But as I was testing it out, I realized it would just be too difficult to figure out the middle line and where exactly to bend it, and how much space to leave there for the fringe and everything. So, new plan, I'm gonna leave this row as is and cut the cord maybe with about this much length on it, and then just make 1 more row like this, except with the colors switched out. So the smallest semicircles are going to be the terracotta, and then the big ones are going to have the green wedges in them. And I'll probably leave it with the 2 lines only. We'll see if then I want to add a 3rd one. More testing to be done. I have finished the other garland. On this one, I actually switched it up and I did 3 of the little sections in the terracotta, and then 2 of the bigger ones with the green wedges in there. What I'm gonna do next, and I already started on this first one, is unravel all of the cords like this, and then I'll brush them out and cut them in some kind of a shape, probably like a triangle like this instead of a circle. I think circle, like straight lines are always easier to cut than, you know, straight circle, if I can say it like that. So that's probably how I'm going to do it. Now for the unraveling, I'll just quickly show you on the other piece how I like to do that. So what I found works the easiest is if you've got the cord like this, then I just unravel it at the very top, at the very edge, and then I pull out, you can see now the 3 separate strands, and I pull out one of them and then the other, and then that's it. I find that better than like trying to unravel it from the bottom or just whatever else. And so then once it will be all unraveled, brushed out, and cut, I will probably put some more beads on the very ends here, but yeah, I'll have to see how that will work out. And then I've got these teeny tiny pins that actually have white heads. So I'll put these into the wall or like the frame of the door on the side. And that's how I'm going to attach the garland to the wall. And that will be it for this entire project. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you will like the final piece. I hope I will like the final look of the project, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.